We all moved inside. As we did, we saw in the surrounding area, it seemed like the skeletons were just moving around and collecting broken objects and other types of things. It seemed there were more bodies just sort of scattered around. As we stumbled on in, one was rather close. We moved with careful steps, but even just moving in a little bit, the one that was directly close that was moving off from the side almost spotted us immediately as it stopped and turned away in the direction. It sort of wordlessly turned and stared and just sort of pointed up, pointing at exactly and then clacking its jaw a few times as all the other skeletons sort of looked on over.
Well, they kind of can talk.
I was never used to these things. They're always so... They pantomime, but I can never tell how much intelligence they have.
I mean, the one that the merchant person had can play a lute.
I think that's just a brain response. It's like a tick. Something it does automatically. Maybe something it's programmed to do. I guess we could figure out... How do you talk to these? Do you have experience talking to these things?
They don't really have wills of their own. Usually we talk to Ganglion. So it's kind of weird to see them without him.
Right. Let me think then. Hi there, skeleton. I'm new to this. What do I do? Give me orders. I need orders.
Pantomime.
Gosh.
The skeleton seemed to respond eagerly enough, clacking its jaw up and down and sort of looking across the way, and then sort of skidding off to the side, moving past me, almost ignoring me as it sort of stopped over and then put a hand up in front of Yayo. It gave an exaggerated twist of its hips and head, doing a big nope expression as it held up one finger.
Oh. Well, that seems clear enough. I stopped and turned to the rest of my companions. Well, it's clear enough that we were given... There's probably a no Galloins beyond this point order, but I looked over at our new companion. Do you want to see how far you can make it?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
There goes our bravest warrior.
It seemed like I actually managed to get decently far in. Sort of moving on, it seems that my current status seemed to almost put the skeletons at ease. They didn't seem like they were programmed to consider me in any sort of way, so by the time I reached the door, I sort of just stopped and turned around and walked my way back really quick. What do I... Oh, hang on. I looked down. Gazing at the floor, I saw something rather interesting. It seemed to be some sort of hand crossbow that was just sort of assembled up here, left with some of the weapons. I very quickly assembled it, and despite not really having any arrows for it, at least it would come in handy to a degree. Then, turning around, well, I see I have a new allegiance.
Oh.
I'm now a skeleton, I guess.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, noble skeleton. If you're looking for arrows, there might be some recoverable from over there. I gestured with my head over to the large ballista. A dozen arrows punched into its front. If there's anything recoverable, dear skeleton, please go collect it.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh.
Arcat.
Yeah?
I gesture over to the right side where I saw a smaller looking tied up being.
Got it.
Yeah.
I walk over here and I use Strigay's large body to attempt to hide.
Rather swiftly, Arcat seems to sneak on through, moving on towards the corpse of the other Galoin.
I carefully unwrap and filch this body.
Another body seemed to be contained within. However, this time, when peeking on inside, it did not seem that there was any sort of journal.
No journal.
No journal. Paltry number of gems. But I did turn my attention, and I think I saw another one over there. I sort of moved on over. Arcat.
Yeah?
There's another one. It's farther side of the room. As Arcot slowly creeped over to the body, and almost poorly timing, the one skeleton began to return. It seemed like it began to go over to reach and inspect the bodies again and almost started to turn around the exact time Arcat was leaning over.
Noticing that the Arcat's cover was about to be blown, I figured now was an excellent time to re-demonstrate my excellent tailoring skills. I reached inside of my cloak and pulled out another needle, the thickest gauge I had on hand.
It was a sudden, simple motion, the scraping of the coffin just sort of dragging barely even a couple of feet, but the loud scrape drew the attention of all the different skeletons in the area as they instead turned to look at the coffin itself, giving Arcat a precious moment to be able to at least reach inside and try to grab a journal.
It's a journal. Who's this glowing?
As the skeleton began to move, Arcat looked at the journal and peeked onto the other side of it, seeing a name listed there. The name inside, Tarukad. As Arcat slowly began to withdraw away before the skeleton turned back, looking at the journal, it was not a name she was particularly familiar with, not one within the Raider Corps, but instead just someone from the village who must have gotten lost and caught up in things.
I sigh. Tarukad. You're supposed to be out from the village. How did you even get over here?
Did you find what you needed?
Yeah, I got the life book from one of them, but the other one I couldn't recognize.
The skeleton rather suddenly moved up and sort of pressed a hand against Arcat and just sort of moved her back, even though she was already moving in the direction, sort of just guiding Arcat away from the direction that she just came from, not even really seeing and perceiving her until just a moment ago. So what are we doing? What's the plan? We've got the other valuables in the room, so are we just booking it?
Can we go deeper?
Well, even if we can't have a verbal conversation, there is a thing they might know. They operate on instinct, but they still definitely follow orders. I decided under this instance to do something that, well, I felt rather foolish doing, but it was the best course of gaining new information.
The skeleton seemed to turn to Garchunus briefly as Garchunus began to shift, I suppose. It then seemed to stare for a moment and then began to pantomime a point in the direction of the door on the other side of the bastion setup. Good job, you can talk to skeletons.
Yeah, embodying somebody like that did not feel great, but at least we know where Ganglion might have gone to.
Not much body to really embody, is there?
We probably shouldn't speak so ill of the boss next to one of their lackeys. Let's maybe explore somewhere else for now. At least we know we're unlikely to run into it.
I stopped at that and turned, however, over to Yayo. That's not the plan, though, is it?
Unfortunately, we gotta go through here in order to hit the east wing of the dungeon. Okay. Well, if they're cleaning up weapons and you just found yourself a nice crossbow, why not throw them some tasty bait?
Oh?
I mean, you've got that axe and you almost broke that thing on the crystal. Why not open the door and throw it like a dog? Do dogs really like bones?
I think so, yes.
Do dogs just destroy skeletons?
The dog that the merchant had seemed to like water.
Oh. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, yeah. Throw it out there like a dog to water.
Dog that the merchant had. All right, well, I'll give it a shot. I moved across the room and just sort of ran over to that door, took a peek and to the next room and just sort of arced the axe and tossed it over.
No, not this way, this side, this door. No, wait.
Unfortunately, it was a bit too late, as I had already gone and tossed in the confusion the axe through the door, and it sort of clunked through the other side. I saw the split of the ravine and how it broke that room and how the axe just sort of tumbled on down. The skeletons didn't really seem to care either. So all in all, it was an utterly useless endeavor.
Don't worry, I have an idea. Come here. It's gonna be a little silly, but will work.
I'm all ears.
What we do is we take this coffin, right?
Yeah.
We flip it upside down, put it over our heads, and then occasionally we drop to the floor, and I don't think they'll be able to know the difference.
Oh.
I like the idea.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
It's like camouflage, but for like a place for dead people.
Yeah, and just like, I don't know, like act like you're like pushing us or something, Melanus.
Oh, yeah, I guess if
Yeah.
they've been moving corpses around, maybe I can just drag you all off to the next room.
Yeah,
with the rope, I
like,
suppose.
not really push us. We're gonna be walking, but just like act like you're
okay.
pushing.
Well,
That'll be enough for them, I think. From the outside perspective, this coffin probably looks something like a caterpillar. 8 legs poking out from beneath, crawling across the dungeon floor. Pretty silly, but pretty effective.
I don't think this is gonna work. Man, I can't believe that worked. They just let us walk right through.
All you need to do is believe in the process, Milanias.
Wow. Okay. What's next? Do you have the rope?
Yep. 100 feet.
All right. Here. It's a poor use of it, but if you tie it, I'll just shoot it across.
More than happy to.
As they tied the rope together, I sort of grabbed the arrow, put it on the hand crossbow. Just stand back, okay? I need it focused. Strega, could you?
Yeah.
Thank you. I arced forward, holding the crossbow in my hand and getting used to the grip. It was a different type of weapon, but I had trained with these as well, so as I pulled and steadied myself, with one thud, the hand crossbow fired a shot through and sort of sang through, impacting against the sort of wooden door ahead. I sort of gave it a tug and it seemed stable enough. All right. I suppose we can use the coffin as the counterweight. It seems heavy enough.
Yeah.
All right. Tying it quickly, the rope prepared. I suppose the only things left to do is to climb. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
All right, good luck. Watching Arcat do a thorough, careful climb across, sort of gripping the rope, it's always a bit of a troublesome thing trying to scale past these kind of ravines and cliffs on a simple rope, but watching her do it, it felt almost natural. She pulled herself along, the small frame allowing her to almost sort of drag herself across very quickly with very little pulling away from the rope, eventually dropping down on the other side, completely intact, no trouble.
I twirl around once. Ta-da!
Clap, 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 clap.
Marvelously done.
Right. Can you hold on to the rope now? I'm a bit worried about my own size.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
I began to slowly crawl my way forward, and it seems my fears were somewhat founded, as almost immediately making my way across, I had trouble sort of getting and pulling with the weight of my arm as I sort of got stuck and started to sag. But at the same way, my weight started to pull the coffin ever so slightly, starting to see it budge towards the edge. I had about a moment to react, just sort of staring and watching as the rope began to sag and otherwise. So, with that in mind, I decided I would simply let go. It was a sudden, quick tumble, but I did manage to grab on about halfway through the ravine onto a rock, barely managing to scramble, grab my way onto the stonework before eventually just sort of floating there for a bit. Well, I suppose that was inevitable. Just keep going.
Oh.
Sorry about that. You're way more heavier than I thought you were gonna be.
I'm surprised myself. It's just get going. We can figure this out later. I can get up. I'm sure I can get up.
We can cut the rope and dangle it for you. It's not a big deal.
Strega, you might have the strength and the height. Maybe you make your way across and can pick Ms. Millennius up.
Yeah, I can try. Make sure to hold tight over here and over there and everything. I look at the rope. I look at the ravine. Don't think I've ever attempted anything like this before, really. seeing someone who's supposed to be more experienced fall over does not give me the most confidence. I persist as I grab onto the rope firmly with all 4 hands. As I, on the top of the rope, hold on with 4 hands and then have my thighs tightly around it, I inchworm my way closer to the other side, but then my weight shifts as I flip upside down, but my grip tightens, and I stand there frozen for a second. I'm good.
Hey, welcome down here.
Yeah, you wanna...
Yeah, okay, sure. I reached up and grabbed him. I can try to pull myself up too, are you sure? Is this...
I mean, can try. I reach down, a little untrusting of whether this person's grip is tight enough considering their condition. And I just try to, I look at them and say, get ready, as I just pull with all my strength to throw them up.
His grip was surprisingly strong, actually, as one of the arms sort of lifted me up like some sort of rag doll, and the other one grabbed on as well as he just sort of hoisted me over, and I sort of flailed over the other side, landing and sort of scattering like a pile of bones as I sort of just spread out on the stone again, though the strain did seem to almost tear on the rope again, and it took a moment. Strege almost bashing against the stone for a second before he was able to kind of pull himself back up.
I smile seeing the 2 people able to finally reach the end. Welcome to the land of the living.
Yeah, that's probably the heaviest of us, unless Yayo's carrying like a lot of goods or something.
Waves.
Maybe it's for the best you're a little light on money at the moment, Yayo.
I've never been more thankful for my dad.
I watched Yayo move her way across. However, it seemed at one point that the rope had gotten a bit more saggy due to our own crossing. As she sort of shimmied her way across, moving along the way, the rope itself almost seemed to just sort of get caught on some of the rocks on the way up. It required a bit of a tug and a pull in order to kind of break free, and she got stuck around the same spot that I got stuck on before, though far less trapped there as I was.
Careful.
Ow. Okay. It definitely looks easier than it is.
Well, that's encouraging.
All right, Gartriness, just you.
Well, I'll try and not let the side down. Adventuring is a lot of work. While I had done some physical preparations for this jaunt to the ancestral home, I tried my best to make sure that my master did not see the laps and push-ups I was doing. It turns out that actually using my physical prowess in the field is still a little strained. Though I managed to make my way over without any physical damage, it took a really long time, and I could feel them staring at me as I slowly managed to make my way across. But at the very least, my technique was immaculate.
Very impressive.
Yes, are we leaving the rope for now? I suppose we'll have to get back across at some point.
Yeah, we should probably leave it for now.
All right.
Oh.
If we needed, we could just go back for it.
No, for sure. It's something we can always return for. I stared ahead, looking at the room that we were about to go into. I hated this one. Hated this one a lot. As you entered, the room was deceptively, at least in first glance, almost nearly empty. There was a little bit of bustle, however, on the inside, as sort of peeking out through that end, you could see a number of skeletons moving, pulling bodies that seemed to be more appropriately wrapped. And along with that, you could also see someone else, a gelatinous form, moving throughout the room as we all entered inside. Stepping in, you could see it. What looked to be a shrine room in Mocking, but in practical experience, was actually an exercise in immense physical pain. As we went through, however, my thoughts were immediately distracted by the one speaking up. Oh, wow! Well, would you look at it is! It's the Galloins! Well, hello there, welcome! Why are you here? You really shouldn't be here!
Community manager Ganglion, my favorite, just the guy I'm looking for. Oh, I'm so happy to see you.
It was at that very moment that I saw Yayo step up to one spot. My eyes sort of went wide for a moment as Yayo began stepping up, and in that very moment, the floor began to shift. And as that occurred, in almost an exact singular moment, I noticed and saw something play back, a flashback coming into my mind from an earlier time that we walked through here. All right, but keep your guard up. I mean, those last guys were pretty tough, but who knows what's waiting for us here. I know. Perhaps it's best to send our trusty rogue up front. What do you say, Mary? She swiftly brushes her hair to the side as she steps up and moves up.
It seems like...
And almost immediately in that moment, I remembered very briefly watching Mary sort of shift as she stepped on the floor, and immediately the ground almost seemed to shift up in that exact spot, causing her to slide ever so suddenly. As she tumbled down, the other slot almost seemed to react in this strange chain reaction, resulting in a floor pit full of what seemed to be acid pop out of the ground. As she tumbled in, we all watched in our bated breath for that very moment as we expected her to limply dodge out of the way. But it seemed that her heel got stuck on the edge and she tripped headfirst down into the spike and it seemed to simply tumble into the acid. That was the first time I had witnessed someone die in my party for a long time. And as I looked across at this room again, I stared directly forward as I watched the exact same trap in the exact same spot spiral out as Yayo began to tumble, as the mechanism began to spiral out of control, and an acid pit seemed to open up directly in front of my eyes. Everyone seemed to stare for a moment, Ganglion almost turning and watching as Yayo started to fall, spiked up. Wait, Joe! And I sort of immediately reacted on instinct as I tried to run as best as I could. I jump over, sliding down myself and slam my boot on the edge of this one here, reaching over and grabbing Yayo as I sort of pull her back. The tile almost seems like it'll spiral out of control in that moment, and we sort of pull ourselves back, barely managing to be sent into the depths itself as I fling her back over my side and sort of rest there too.
Thump! I hit the ground like a sack of potatoes and lie there utterly stunned.
I fucking hate this room. Why did you make a room like this?
Why are you shaking me?
My apologies, but this room is currently in renovation. It is currently not allowed for anyone to enter.
Why are you shaking me? I didn't make this room.
I turned around and faced the slime. Why did you make a room like this? Again, currently this room is under maintenance. We are seeking a new purpose for this room to make it a duo shrine room and trap room. The purpose of which is to try to make and reorganize the dungeon to be. The dungeon is already very efficient, but here in the community, we're attempting to make the dungeon even more efficient by combining concepts. Previously, adventurers such as yourself would simply move across the room and find multiple avenues to sneak through a room, so we think we need to up security. My apologies, Yayo.
Thank you for the attempt.
And unfortunately, we have not sent out any sort of dossier to any of the Galloins, which is why this is off limits for now.
Oh my god, you were taking our safety into account. That's so wonderful of you.
Absolutely, Strega, he's kind of lying.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so incredible. You were doing your best to make sure that we were all safe and good.
Absolutely. This room is off limits for that reason and that reason alone.
Oh my god, I really appreciate it so much. You have done so much for us at the community.
Yes.
You have done so much for us at the community. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm going to throw a sewing needle.
Very swiftly, amidst my angry haze, I did notice that, in just a swift moment, it seemed that Garcherness, pulling out a sewing needle, tossed it forward with a string attached and ripping and pulling and moved onto the vent being pulled down. But at that point, he just sort of stuck there. What? Violence in the community? No way! Oh. Gartrinus's toss was powerful. It seemed to be pulled into the side with a large rip, but as the needle went in and he was pulled, he moved on, but he just seemed to stick, his body vacuous, just sitting on the actual tile itself. And above that, as the needle was pulled out, the body just seemed to reform, no injury at all being apparent. Wow, it's a good thing that didn't hurt at all! Anyways, skeletons, I am in need of assistance. I am being violently attacked.
I love this, man.
They say it's been too long. It's so nice to see you. You're a good friend of mine. So long farewell, adieu. No, I can't believe, oh no, not words from thee, but said in facsimile, yearning for that distant we. So I'm searching for near eternity, but I don't know where I should be. Love of branch, no family tree, no friends I have to see. An unfriendly propensity is my natural state to take flight in perpetuity. And so echo back is only me, cut off from precious we.